In this lab test, we're going to run a Boss Waza tube amp expander through a Universal Audio Ox Stomp. Let's see what happens.
So, come up to the lab and see what's on the slab. I see you shiver with anticipation.
In today's lab test, we're going to run a Boss Waza tube amp expander into a Universal Audio Ox Stomp. When I was looking at reactive load attenuators, I narrowed my choice down to the Boss tube amp expander and the Universal Audio Ox. I really like the attenuation side of the tube amp expander. Rather than attenuating steps, it basically reamps your signal and runs it through a 100 watt Class D power amp. You can control the volume in a linear fashion, like turning up or down the volume on a stereo. This allows you to tame a 100 watt beast, but also allows you to take a 5 watt amp and turn it into a 100 watt monster. Consequently, I really like the post-processing side of the Ox better than the Boss. Universal Audio models the speaker, mics, and room rather than gives you static IRs. You can adjust speaker age, mic levels, room mic levels, etc. This is more dynamic than playing through static IRs. The drawback here is you're limited to the speakers, mics, and etc. that Universal Audio programs into Ox. Boss provides some of their own IRs in the tube amp expander, and you can upload up to 32 of your own. If you use the Boss IRs, you can adjust options such as the size of the room, mics used, etc. If you use a third-party IR, you cannot adjust these things because it's assumed that all of that is in the IR itself. In the end, I settled on the tube amp expander, but I always wished that I was able to use the dynamic speaker models of the that the Ox offered. Recently, Universal Audio released the Ox Stomp. The Ox Stomp is the speaker and post-processing side of the Ox without the reactive load side. You can use any line level signal into the Ox Stomp and make use of Universal Audio speaker models. For this test, I'm going to play through the Boss tube amp expander using one of the built-in IRs. I'll then turn off the speaker sim portion of the tube amp expander and run the sound out to the Ox Stomp. I'm going to try to make the speaker, mic, and room as close as I can to each other on both sides. And that way we can get as accurate a test as we possibly can. So let's go. Okay, so for the first part of this test, we're going to go through the tube amp expander. I basically have, we'll go over my signal chain here. So today I'm playing my floral pattern gem. This is the made in Indonesia version, not the made in Japan. It's a really nice guitar. And we're running through a couple of effects pedals here. Honestly, the only one that I'm going to use is the SD1. SD1, that's going out to the Ignator. The Ignator's tone stack is set on the Marshall side of things. And on the tube amp expander side of things, basically we've got 4x12 classic stack. The mic type is Blend A, which is a blend of a SM57 and a Royer 121 ribbon. Mic distance is short. Our mic position is 2 centimeters off center. I like to do that with SM57s because they tend to be very bright, and the closer you get to the middle of the cone, the brighter the sound's going to be. And for the room mics, we've got mid-room B. The room mics in the tube amp expander, all you can do is pick the size of the room. So anechoic is obviously no room. It's kind of a, I guess, isolation chamber basically. Small room, you got mid room, you got a big room, and of course you can change your mic position and your distance. And you can also pick from various microphones. I tend to like to blend. When I was miking speaker cabinets, I have a ribbon, a Golden Age ribbon, and an SM57, and that pairing worked out pretty well for most applications. So on the clean side of things, and then we'll add a little bit of dirt. Also want to add that on the tube amp expander, I've also got reverb, plate reverb going, and I also have compression. It's a 2-to-1, very light compression, just to kind of take care of any of the transients. I will mirror these settings as close as I can in the Ox Stomp so that they're close and we can make a good comparison. So you can see there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good sounding IR. I just wanted to see if the Ox gave us a little more option there as far as tweakability, and compare how their models are different than a static IR. The problem I've always had with IRs is that it's option overload basically. So I downloaded the I think it was called the Classic 7 pack from Celestion, which has their 7 most famous speakers, Greenback 25, Creamback, all of that. And for each speaker, you have it in a 2x12, a 1x12, a 4x12, and then for each one of those, you've got 200 millisecond, 500 millisecond IRs, and then you start to get into, all right, this IR has the microphone 2 inches from the speaker, 3 inches from the speaker, 4. And each one of those is different, and it would take a lifetime to figure out which of those IRs sounded best. I personally like the ability to tweak it, move things around, and say, okay, I've got this mic distance here, I've got this mic here, here's the levels, everything's good. So I'm hoping that the Ox gives me that. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and connect the Ox up, and we will compare it. And next I'm going to go ahead and run the line outs from the tube amp expander into my Ox Stomp. Now, if you do this, you're going to need some adapters. You're going to need adapters like this. This is a XLR to 1/4 inch. Now they make a couple types of these. This one is mono. It doesn't have the it's not a TRS. They do make XLR to TRS. For this, we're going to want the XLR to mono because we're plugging it into the mono jack of the pedal. left and right. Alright, for the next part of the test, we are going to be playing through the Ox Stomp. Before you do that, if you're running a modeler or any other pedal into this that uses speaker sims, speaker IRs, or any of that, you're going to want to turn that off. So basically, on the tube amp expander, I have turned off the cab mic simulation, I have turned off the reverb, and I've turned off the compression. So let's go over to the Ox Stomp, and that's controlled with an app on an iPad or iPhone or an Android device. I kind of wish they had a PC emulation for it as well. So on this patch that I created to make it close to what we were running in the tube amp expander, we're in a 4x12 GB25 punch. And this is basically a greenback, 25 watt greenback loaded Marshall cabinet. For the first mic, we're running a Shure SM57, and for the second mic, we're running a Royer 121. We have a condenser pair for our room mics, and just like the tube amp expander, we have some light compression. I'm basically just doing defaults here. This is a 4-to-1 and some reverb. Just to give it a little bit of ambiance. So, to my ears already, the Ox Stomp, the speaker, everything just seems a bit warmer. This is on the bridge pickup. Here's second position. Give it a little bit of light overdrive. Give it a little bit of medium overdrive. So the cool thing is that changing speaker cabinet drastically changes the sound. So we can run through some speakers here. Here's the Greenback 25 thick compared to the punch. There's one with Celestian Super 80s. Here's one with Vintage 30s. This is a Mesa cabinet, actually. And we even got in the 4x12. Here's one. Here's another. This is a Marshall cabinet with vintage 30s in it. That's actually a really good sounding cabinet for this application here. We've got 30-watt greenbacks. And then we got a 4x10 basement. Basement cabinets are fun. I think a good recording trick would be to record rhythm part using one like a 4x12, say with vintage 30s in it, and then go back and double that up with a basement cabinet, because the 10-inch speakers really give a nice mid-range punch, and that really cut through concrete in a mix. That's why super reverbs are so cool in a band context, because they'll just punch through anything. So basically with the Ox Stomp, it just expands your opportunities that the tube amp expander offers. One of the things that the tube amp expander offers too is an effects loop, and the effects loop runs between the reactive load and the Class D power amp. A lot of people complain that it's noisy. I haven't had that experience, to be honest with you. I'm kind of shocked because I'm in a very small studio space with a lot of electronics and everything picks up noise. One of the things, I have a set of Strymon pedals in the effects loop. So for example, if I wanted to kick on my deco and do some through zero flanging, sounds really good. And then of course I've got a Flint. Since I'm running reverb in the aux, I'm not going to turn the reverb side of that, but I can turn on the harmonic tremolo side. So if you own something like this, or a torpedo captor or anything like that, the Ox Stomp is just another tool in the arsenal, I think. It just expands your options as far as speaker, room, microphone emulation. I think it's a great tool to have. So that's my test, and I think it was pretty successful. This was the first time that I hooked the Ox into the tube amp expander. I honestly wasn't sure if it was going to work as advertised or not, but it did, and I did have to make two separate recordings because on the first go round I forgot. I turned off the speaker sims on the tube amp expander, but I did not turn off the reverb and the compression. So when I ran it through the Ox, I was getting compression both from the tube amp expander and from the Ox, as well as reverb, and it made everything sound really, really strange. So I hope you enjoyed this test. If you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe. I am really trying to gin up some support for this channel, and until next time, thank you.